Hi everyone, welcome to #Ideas. Today our guest is Ashish Bajaj, Head of Marketing at MediBuddy app. For those who don't know, MediBuddy shares the space in online healthcare industry with players like Tracto, Tata 1mg, and Pharmacy, etc. Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, yes, the legendary Mr. Amitabh Bachchan has recently signed up as brand ambassador for MediBuddy. So, welcome Ashish, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure. First of all, very congratulations to entire team for onboarding Mr. Bachchan as a brand ambassador. That's kind of a big news.
Agree. It's a big news indeed.
Right.
And I think like how our founder says, like what Mr. Bachchan is to the Bollywood industry, we aspire to become for the healthcare industry.
We want to see you there. We want to see you there.
Yeah.
So let me just begin with the same topic, as my first question. What was the thought and ideas behind going with, such a legendary Bollywood superstar as a brand ambassador instead of not opting for the influencer marketing strategies that everyone seems to run, after these days? Some ideas on that.
So, Gaurav, first thing first, how did we approach the entire ambassador thing? We went through, of course, our primary research and understood between 5-6 options that we had in our mind. But the core objective, why we went for an ambassador, was to build trust for healthcare. Right. So for any brand in the healthcare space, it's very important to build trust for that brand. And we are trying to be, as an output, the most trusted brand in the next 3 to 4 years. So how do you amplify or exponentially increase your chances of being the most trusted brand is to bring in the most trusted face. And their endorsement of your brand helps it grow very, very fast. So that was our major objective behind signing the legend. And it was indeed in itself, it was not that easy to get him saying that you reached out to an agency, you got the papers and you signed those papers. No, there was a lot of it was involved into it. So honestly, the first, I've been fortunate enough to sign a lot of brand ambassadors in my previous experiences. And there was never a case that before signing, we met the star. It always used to be with the managers. This time, because it was healthcare and he wanted to genuinely know more, me and my founder went. We were supposed to meet for 25 minutes. That meeting extended to more than 45 minutes because he was well read. First of all, he came prepared for the digital healthcare industry. Awesome. And he wanted us to take what a consumer will experience while he or she is on our platform, and what are the guardrails that we have kept in place for protecting the consumer or patient. So I think that guy, yes, of course, it's too much to learn from him.
Seriously, yes, of course. So to extend that discussion in the same line, what are the other below the line marketing strategies you're using to grow your market share to reach out to customers beside this top line communication?
So for BTL, there are a few channels that we have built up over the last 6 to 7 months. RWAs, your campaigns in RWAs have been a major backbone for us. So basically going to a resident welfare association and building your case for the healthcare, giving them a lot more information about how to be into the preventive space rather than going into the later half of your health, which is like going and getting admitted. So that becomes much more, and it's kind of a last mile for us. And that has been performing well. So we are doing more than 650 RWA camps in a month. And it expands to almost 12 cities in India, of course, covering the metros and beyond. Then we built a team in terms of feet on street, basically solving for the last mile.
Correct.
And then we've been doing it into 9 cities, and we have developed a lot more capabilities in terms of explaining what is the right healthcare need for a patient or a consumer, and then top of it building our product and services based that.
Yes, I was reading somewhere, you have already built up a network of somewhere around 90,000 doctors and some 70,000 plus, 7,000 plus hospitals. That's a great,
Yeah,
expansion. So in the
9,000 plus.
yeah, 9,000 plus.
Yeah.
Right. So in the organic means of digital marketing growth, I'm just taking a bit of your insights on the digital marketing, because that is again a kind of very expanding area these days. So in the organic means of digital marketing, what has worked best for you? Like what has delivered the best ROI for you, and what has delivered the most eyeballs? Digital marketing.
So
Or
I would still say, of course, leaving apart your SEOs of the world,
yes.
I'm gonna bring your focus towards content, and it is always the king, and it always delivers the best, even in any kind of front. But now to specifically to be more on digital front, we have repository of more than 1,200 doctor FAQ videos. So people used to come to us and ask questions about how or where or what all solutions can telemedicine provide us,
Correct.
even as micro as or as detailed questions about what happens in a particular health issue. So we thought too that that's gonna be a key for people who just want to experience the telecommunication platforms. So we've created that's a repository, and we did that almost 3 years, almost 2.5 years before, and it still rakes in a lot of organic traffic to our platform. They're listed onto the app or to our YouTube channels or on our Facebook channels, and they're consistently growing in terms of views day on day. Then we also then forwarded ourselves into owning the WHO days, again in terms of content, and content not only just giving you gyan about us as a brand, but we thought rather make it more informative for a consumer to grasp, and basically provides the right solution for your healthcare needs. And it has been also working for us till date. We finished one of our campaign last year Diwali, just before Diwali, and and still the content is up there, and that content is still bringing a lot of installs and platform visits for us.
Do you have something to share on the social media front as well in the same line?
Absolutely. So our first influencer campaign happened around July of last year. It was a big campaign that we did, and you wouldn't believe that we saw a 35% increase in our organic installs.
Great.
And our DAU
35%.
also increased 35%.
That's a good increase.
And since then, we've been using that channel for us. And we just recently concluded a big campaign on influencer front, where we created a consumer version of our TVC. So
Okay.
we roped in a famous person in terms of Harsh Mukherjee to look at redoing our TVC from a much more peppy way. And post that, we introduced the hook step, and it is still doing pretty well for us.
Right.
And I can go as down as saying that our organic installs, since even after finishing your TV campaign, have been keep on increasing in terms of their day-to-day install trends.
Right. So now let me draw some insights from my audience from this point specifically. What do you think, startups and small entrepreneurs who are just starting up, how should they approach the digital expansion with a limited budget, with very restricted budgets? What are your advice on that front?
See, a lot many brands who were small enough have become big. Either you say into the digital space or say overall. I think to be very, very precise for the audience consuming the content here, one is if you are picking up a brand from the scratch, or you are looking at a journey of 0 to 1,
Hmm.
content always works.
Right.
It need not be a content which is produced on the high ends of the cameras. It can be as good as a red or a blue template with a
Correct.
text, but you have to build on to the trends.
Right.
Now, all these micro trends that usually people try to pick up, you have to be very consistent to those trends. And anything happening in or around the space of your category, you should be the first one to pounce on it. And post starting once, you have to commit it for very, very long time. It cannot be that I did this in 1 quarter and then in the second
And then
quarter,
you
I'm not
expect
going to do
results.
it.
Right. Right. Right.
So
That is a,
that is where they lose it.
yeah. That's also a common behavior among startups. Yeah. And which was again,
And then,
yeah. No, you
and
were saying
then you need
something.
to, sorry, yeah, I was saying, so, and then you need to solve for providing the right FAQs for your consumers, because
Right.
there can be a lot of questions that they have. Those questions, you have to listen to them on social, and post listening, you need to create content around it so that it is pre-understood by the consumer who comes to your platform beforehand, and then it goes into the utilization of the platform.
Of course. Very well said. So, where do you think, I mean, as my last question is with you, where do you think your small budding entrepreneurs actually, go wrong with marketing? What are your advice to prevent marketing failures to these starting, entrepreneurs?
So, one of the biggest mistakes that I've been working with a lot of entrepreneurs has been investing into a lot of pre-seed seeds, startups as well.
Okay.
What I have seen is there is always a generalization of marketing done by founders saying that I don't do this, I'm sure nobody does it. Marketing is purely about consumer insight, and you have to understand your consumer TG and then expand the value to the, or exponentially increase or extrapolate the value to the consumer in totality, not because there are 20 people around you who do not do it.
Correct.
Correct. So and just to add a last point there, what usually happens is after generalization, we really don't speak to our consumers,
Mhm.
and we build it on by saying, okay, my friend told me this, so I think this is the right idea.
Correct.
Those are the great failures. You have to talk to your consumer, don't generalize.
Correct. Correct. Wonderful. So thank you so much for a lot of advices and sharing all these details on everybody. Thanks for being with us today, Ashish Bajaj. It was wonderful speaking to you, and wish you good luck for the CMO conference happening in June from the agency FAQs. I hope to meet you, see you there as well. And
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you so much for your time,
Absolutely.
Ashish.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Take care.
Good
Bye.
day.
Good day.